Here we are at SuperReturn Asia in Hong Kong, by the way, celebrating their 10th anniversary in this venue. And I'm here today with Pandu from Abraaj. Abraaj is an organization I've known, in fact, met the founder back in 2005 when they really started to grow the firm, Arif Naqvi. And they've had an enviable track record. A lot of folks have watched in amazement the way they've expanded throughout the region and really throughout the world. But they've done so in a very measured way, and I think they've been very successful at it. So Pandu, why don't you tell us about the fantastic growth of Abraaj and how you've achieved that in a very measured way?
So thank you for the opportunity also to share our story. So talking about measured way, for our firm, if you put 2010 or the halfway point of our growth as a firm, I think our asset size has close to tripled. Today we're at 9 billion the beginning of this year, and obviously we're still growing. We are today the largest GP operating in the growth markets, what we call the growth markets. Some people call it the emerging market. So for us, the DNA of our firm is in the emerging market or in the growth market. We are the largest GP, obviously in Africa and in MENA. And today in Asia too, we're quite focused on finding the companies that can become local companies, that can become regional companies. So we're quite focused on that.
Well, it's interesting too because a lot of folks have been observers of your fantastic growth. But how does one go into these different frontier markets and really establish themselves, develop relationships,
Sure.
the extent to which that you can recruit and you can also find good opportunities and deals?
So maybe one, I think for our business is all people's business. When we look at local markets, we have to be local in our approach. So if you're in Indonesia, for example, you have to be Indonesian. If you're Mexico, hopefully you're Mexican. And if you are in Philippines, hopefully you're Filipinos, right? So in a way, we look for people that are local in their approach, local in their relationship, but obviously with one DNA, which is more of a global focus, a global mindset. So with us, the way we source companies too, we try to look at companies that are willing to partner with us and willing to give, I would say, for us the ability to become active in their businesses and help them grow. From, say, for example, an Indonesian company who wants to become an ASEAN company. So we try to look at these type of players.
Well, I think people have noticed this. Abraaj has been very sensitive to what they call the ESG issues, the environmental, the social, the governance issues, and these are becoming more acutely important to a lot of investors, particularly the large sovereign wealth funds, the public pension plans. And can you tell us about your sensitivity to that and how you have achieved that and how you've encouraged your portfolio companies to adapt these kinds of modern rules?
So, well, thank you for asking that question. And in a way, ESG is vital, perhaps the most critical to our value add to the partner companies where we invested in. So interestingly today, what we see, a lot of the companies, a lot of them are family run, still very private. For them, ESG is a secondary thought, right? Especially in the governance side, and the environmental side. So whenever we come in, we said this is essential. If you want to go from this level to a global level, you need to have to go through it. What's interesting today, that discussion, a lot more family companies are willing to engage in this type of discussion. Why? Because they see the value of it. Mm-hmm. Once we take it public, they realize that the mark-to-market of that actually is a real value creation, a real wealth creation to them. So actually this type of discussion today has become our primary drivers whenever we talk to family companies or to potential partner companies.
Well, it's interesting too because I've been traveling here to the region for over 25 years, and what you're seeing too, and I think you mentioned this earlier before we started the interview, is that the next generation is now coming into
Yes.
these partnerships and into these different families and family offices, and they're sensitive to the environmental issues. And it's not because it's the thing you have to do; it's something that's modern and progressive, and
Correct.
is almost essential to the future growth of the companies.
They're trained in the best schools in the world globally. Yeah. So when they come back, they want to say, hey, you know what? Our company should be at this level. Mm-hmm. So they see private equity as a bridge.
Yeah.
In fact, the asset class of private equity too in the last decade has become a lot more accepted.
Yeah.
It's not just capital, it's actually capital that can bridge the gap from second generation and first generation. Yeah. So that's kind of the role too that we play.
Thank you for this interview.
No, thank you for having me.